Okay? Largest degree to smallest degree. This is x squared. This is essentially 1. And this is essentially 0. So largest degree to smallest degree. Okay? So if you're given an equation, it'd be a very good thing to go ahead and put it in this form if it's not. But typically you'll see it in this form. So, okay? Now, a handy-dandy formula that you need to know is, make sure you have this written down, axis of symmetry. Okay? You can figure this out. Symmetry, sorry. Okay? Now the axis, this will be written as x is equal to a negative sign b divided by 2a. Let's just talk about this axis of symmetry and what it actually means. Okay? What this means is, if we had a graph, I'm just making this one up. Okay? Let's say if it was something like this. Okay? The axis of symmetry is essentially the middle of it. If you drew a dotted line down the middle of this equation, this would be considered your axis of symmetry. Because if you fold it over, like a hot dog, if you fold a piece of paper hot dog style, okay, the exact same thing will be on the other side. You guys know what I mean? You essentially put a line down the middle of it. Okay, that's what you're drawing a line right down the middle of it.
So you make it even?
Exactly like.
Now, what this is going to give you is the x value. Okay? Think of it as your coordinates. If you work out this equation, it's going to give you the x value. Okay? So you don't know what the y value is. All right, so when you're trying to figure out the axis of symmetry, the only thing you want to do is figure out the x value at which there's essentially a line down the middle of the equation, of the graph. So far, so good.
So
Okay.
that is the minimum?
Well, it's just the coefficient. It's just the number. So the only thing you can write down is 4. Okay. Well, 2a. Well, 2 is just going to be 2. What's my a? 2. Okay. So when you go to work this out, now I think it'd be easier if you put parentheses around there, so you don't worry about that negative too soon. When you multiply 2 times 2, you're going to get 4. So that's going to be 4. 4 over 4 just gives you flat out 1. That negative makes it a negative 1. So that means our x is equal to negative 1. So everybody see how I got that? Okay. Well, the first thing we did was axis of symmetry. So the only thing we know is where the middle of our graph is.
Wait, is this what we learned yesterday?
Yes, that's what this is kind of piggybacking off yesterday.
So yesterday's kind of the same thing.
Shh. Okay. And so my vertex is either the lowest point of my graph or essentially the highest point of my graph, depending on how the graph is.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yes.
Like when you
This is my minimum. They call this a minimum. Just think about it. It's the lowest point. This case, this is called a maximum. It's the highest point. All right? So minimum and maximum.
Can a minimum have a maximum? Maximum?
Does anybody still need this slide? Okay, so I'm going to move on. And I'll write our equation up top. 4x plus 1. Okay, so like I said, we can substitute our axis of symmetry point of negative 1, okay, We don't know what our y value is. We don't know what that is. Let's figure it out. So if I substitute negative 1 in for this,
How'd you get 0 the first time?
Oh, it was a void.
Okay. Oh, it's a negative.
This way,
We just missed
okay,
didn't know what-
slow down here. Okay, so we figured out our axis of symmetry. We know somewhere on this dotted line is our vertex. We know that that point is on our vertex, okay? So let's use this x value of negative 1, substitute it in for all the x's to figure out the y. So we can actually find the point, okay?
Where did you get negative one?
this way you're
So where did I get negative 1? Negative 1 is our axis of symmetry, right?
He got negative one.
So-
Make your mind with negative one. How would you?
Well, let's. What did you say, Tony?
I don't know. How would you get the negative one? What about these different equations? You just put negative
Well, you just find your axis of symmetry, whatever it may be. We got the negative 1 from our axis of symmetry. That's what it is. We know that our x value, you know what? We know our dotted line lies on negative 1. We don't know what the y value is for our vertex stuff, so let's figure that out. So, when I gotta substitute this in, I'm substituting negative 1 for all my x's, and we are solving for y. Okay, well, negative 1 squared is going to be what? 1. So then 2 times 1 gives me 2. Okay. 4 times negative 1 is going to give me. Perfect. And then we drop down that 1.
Wait. Are we solving for a while right now?
Yes.
Would it be negative 1?
It's negative
Gives
2.
you a negative 2 and then negative 2 times a negative 2.
negative 1 times negative 1.
So, when you do 2 minus 4, you're going to get a negative 2. Plus 1, y equals. Negative 2 plus 1 gives me what? Negative 1. It's equal to y.
We just found that out, didn't we?
So, we just figured out our vertex. We now know that our y value is equal to negative 1. Okay? So, we know our y value is negative 1, so we're going to go over 1 and then down 1. Okay? So far, so good, right? Now, how do we know if it's going to be a U-shaped or an N-shaped? Well,
Negative.
if that A value is positive, okay, that means our graph is going to end up going the U shape. It's going to be going up. We know that for sure.
Wait, what decides whether or not it's a mistake?
If
I'm sorry to interrupt.
2 times a negative 1 is going to give me a negative 2.
Negative 4 divided by negative.
Okay? Negative 4 divided by a negative 2 gives me a positive 2. And lastly, go ahead and put that negative in front of it. Okay? So now we know the x value of our vertex. Okay, we know that dotted line. We know where it's at. Like if I wanted to come over here and graph this thing out, if I wanted to come over here and graph this thing out, I now know that my dotted line is going to be somewhere over here on this negative 2. Okay? So, I want to find out my vertex. Okay? So, let's go ahead and plug in negative 2 into our original equation so we can solve for y. So we can get the x and y coordinate of our vertex. Alright? So let's do that now. So I have y equals negative negative 2 squared. Make sure you keep that negative outside of there. Minus 4 times negative 2. It's going to be minus 4. I just substituted negative 2 in for x. This is going to give me 4. When you multiply that out, that's going to give me a positive 8. It's going to be minus 4.
That's zero.
Does everybody follow me so far?
Yeah.
That's zero.
Okay.
It is there. It is there.
When you add negative 4 to a positive 8, it's going to give you a positive 4.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that up.
I told you zero.
And y is going to be equal to 0. So now, we know our vertex is equal to negative 2 and 0.